Epilogue. Spring, 2024. 23 years after. Sitting on a weathered bench perched on the bluff in front of the mansion house, Jessica, with her salt and pepper hair tied back in a loose bun, gazed eastward over the sleepy town of Riverton and a Mississippi River with a mixture of nostalgia and serenity. This was her place, her spot in the universe. This was home. The grass all around glistened with the morning dew that had fallen in the early hours of this crisp, clean-smelling early spring day. Jessica's eyes brimmed with a lifetime of experience, and the glint of the rising sun reflected in them hints of wisdom and just a bit of wistfulness. Her cup of steaming Earl Grey tea warmed her hands in the still cool air. Softly from behind she heard someone approach. The shimmer of a smile reached Jessica's lips, as out of the corner of her eye she glimpsed the sight of her daughter, Kylie, joining her on the bench. Kylie, the 22-year-old daughter born just over a year after Jessica and David's wedding, seemed to exude youthful exuberance and excitement, and the anticipation of her impending marriage sparkling in her eyes. Jessica, her gaze drifting between the river's gentle waves and her daughter, starts the conversation with a soft, nostalgic tone. You know, Kylie, sitting here now brings back memories of when I was around your age. Life was so different back then, so full of possibilities. Kylie, beaming with enthusiasm, turns to her mother. I can't wait for my life to start with Curtis. We've got so many plans, Mom. It's like a dream come true. Jessica smiles warmly, her eyes reflecting both happiness for her daughter and the weight of her own life experiences. Sweetheart, your journey is just beginning, and it's beautiful to see you so excited. But there's something I've learned over the years that I'd like to share with you. Kylie leaned in, curious at her mother's words. You and Curtis will build a life together, and it will be amazing, but remember, love isn't just about the grand moments. It's in the small things, the laughter, the compromise, the support. It's about being a team even when it's tough. Kylie nods, a mixture of earnestness and contemplation in her expression. I understand, Mom. But Curtis and I are different. We are in love, and we'll make it work. Jessica's eyes softened. Of course, and that's beautiful. Just remember to hold on to your dreams and support each other through the inevitable changes that will come. Life has a way of surprising us. I just wish Uncle Bill and Aunt Emma could have been here with us for the wedding, Kylie said with a sad smile. I didn't know Uncle Bill all that well, he passed when I was young, but Aunt Emma helped raise me while you and Dad got the business up and running, and I miss her dearly. So do I, sweetie, so do I. She was like a mother to me as well. Bill had passed away in 2006 from a massive heart attack, and Emma had moved into the mansion during the transition of the house into an upscale bed and breakfast. Emma had taken care of Kylie, and after Jessica's son William was born in 2007, had helped raise him and Kylie, as well as assisted in running the B&B until Emma passed in 2021 of the cancer. Jessica looked out across the small town, outlined in the golden rays of the morning sunshine, and thought of all the changes that had happened over the last 20-plus years. She could barely pick out the building where the newspaper once stood. Purchased by a large-scale newspaper conglomerate in 2004, the paper lasted until 2014, when it finally closed its doors. The newspaper's local assets were sold at auction, and Jessica led the drive to buy all of the old-bound newspaper books for donation to the County Historical Society's museum. She later led the fundraiser to pay for the bound volumes, which contained one copy of every edition of the paper printed each year, to be digitized to preserve a critical part of Riverton's history. So many changes, so many faces once familiar, now forever past. Jessica could feel the pressing of the years reach out to put a cloud on her thoughts, so she turned and saw the gleaming hopeful face of her eldest child. Is your father up and about? Jessica asked. Oh, yes, he's up and very about, Kylie said. I heard the crack of the billiard balls and peeked into the game room. Dad and Uncle Philip have officially resumed. Pool wars 12-inch, and Uncle P is beating the pants off Papa again, she grinned. Daddy does not seem amused. The thought of Jess's younger brother brought another smile to her face. He was her world traveler. After leaving the Air Force, he had taken a job with a series of different airlines and now had worked his way up to being the captain of long-haul passenger and freight aircraft. She never knew what part of the world he would next email or call her from. Of course he would be here for Kylie's big day. He was the lone guest staying at the B&B part of the house, as Jessica had closed it for the week to prepare for the wedding. Uncle Philip told Dad that he was teaching William all of his best pool tricks. Kylie giggled. That went over well, as you can imagine. Jessica looked at her daughter, so young and full of life. Kylie's long blonde hair was tied into a braid that she wore over her left shoulder. Her smooth skin was just starting to lose some of its winter paleness, as Kylie spent hours outdoors preparing for the spring's archery deer season, soon approaching. Kylie returned her mother's smile. Honey. KY. Curtis just arrived. Come inside in 5 minutes, I'm starting breakfast. We are having KY's favorite. They heard David call from the door. The two shared a moment of silent understanding, the passing of wisdom from mother to daughter, as they continued to watch the sun rise into the early morning sky, painting it in hues of orange and pink. In that serene moment, a bond of love, understanding, and shared experiences transcends the age gap between them, uniting them in their journey through life. Let's go inside, Mom, Kylie said as she held out her hand to her mother. Let's go home.